We're here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We just watched Penn State fall to Ole Miss 38-25 in the Peach Bowl. I thought it was an entertaining game, at least for half of it. And then the second half, not so much, as the Rebels began to pull away. Um, I mean, Penn State obviously wasn't at full strength today. We knew going in that they were going to be without Chop Robinson. We knew they were going to be without Johnny Dixon. We didn't know about Kalen King, and we didn't know about Olu until the availability report came out. So that was pretty surprising, and I think it was pretty obvious that missing some of their star players kind of hindered their ability in this game, and it definitely showed, especially in the second half, where they just needed that depth. They just didn't have it.
Yeah, I think that this would have been a tough matchup for Penn State if they had all their players, because Ole Miss is a very good team, especially offensively. But not having Chop Robinson, not having your top two cornerbacks, that really made life difficult for the defense, and we saw that especially through the air. We saw big plays all day from Trey Harris, Ole Miss's wide receiver, as Cam Miller was the number one corner today on the outside. We saw a lot of Zion Tracy, a lot of Elliott Washington, even Daquan Hardy. Normally the nickel cornerback went out to the outside, but it seemed like no matter who they put there, they really couldn't stop Ole Miss.
Yeah, and I didn't think Miller was too bad. I thought it was really more about Ole Miss's receivers just making plays. Same thing with their tight end, Caden Prescorn, I think is how you say it. I don't know. But he was great today, a couple of one-handed snags. So they were just making plays up and down the field, making it tough on Penn State's defense. And then as the game kind of went on, you started to see some injuries. Abdul Carter left the game at one point, so we saw a lot of Tony Rojas. And, you know, anytime you have a true freshman in there against a top 11 team in the country, it's probably not going to go well. I thought it was a pretty solid effort from Penn State. They just didn't have enough talent on the field. There were some mistakes defensively, some breakdowns in coverage where there were some wide open Ole Miss receivers. The secondary got pretty torched, especially toward the end of the game. Ole Miss really got into a rhythm there. But I mean, I thought there were a few good takeaways that you can get from the game. One of the bright spots I would say is the defensive line for Penn State. 9 tackles for loss is pretty solid, especially when you're missing Chop Robinson. So I thought that was a good performance by the defensive line, and Ole Miss has some really good running backs that were held in check for most of the game. Sam, were there any other bright spots maybe that you noticed this game?
For bright spots, I would say that Tyler Warren definitely had a very good game today. The tight ends in general, Theo Johnson did not play in the second half, but that didn't seem to be a problem. I would say where the Penn State offense struggled was passing to the wide receivers. Just in general, they really didn't stretch the field very well, both vertically and horizontally. It kind of felt like they were in this very small box, almost between the hash marks, and it felt like they were just extremely limited, very unexplosive, and they were behind the sticks almost the whole game.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you on the tight ends. I'd also say the running backs had a pretty solid game, but it was the receivers who really just didn't show up today. We didn't see a lot out of Keandre Lambert-Smith. It seemed like he was, very limited today. I don't think the staff wanted to play him too much. And then we didn't see Dante Cephas at all. So that hurt, and the receivers that we did see weren't great. We didn't see a catch by a wide receiver in the entire first half. That's never a winning formula. So yeah, just the wide receivers really let the group down. I don't think Drew played particularly well either. He threw his second interception of the year today on, I don't even know what you would call that pass. Yeah. He just kind of chucked it up, tried to hit the ceiling here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It just came down right into an Ole Miss defender's hands. That was just a bad throw, bad mistake right there, and it came at a pretty bad time as well. Certainly a mistake-filled day. I mean, a blocked field goal, just a pretty sloppy all-around day for Penn State. A lot of things didn't go their way, so they finish out the season 10-3 overall with this Peach Bowl loss. But yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts on the game, unless you had anything else to add.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say it's hard for me to even have any long-term takeaways from this, because we know this is a Penn State team in transition, right? They had interim offensive coordinator and defensive coordinators, and they were without, obviously, their best players anyway. So the loss hurts, I would say, if you're a Penn State fan, but at the same time, I don't think this is very indicative of what you're going to see next year, because you are going to have essentially brand new offense and defense with new coordinators. So I'm excited to see how that looks.
Yeah. All right. that concludes our regular season coverage, but we'll have some content throughout the off season. So make sure you stay tuned on our website, on our socials, everything like that. Keep up with us. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.